Absolutely. I definitely see it continuing. I think we're just at the tipping point now. I think if 2017 was about hygiene, the ad fraud, the brand safety, the viewability, that while that will carry through, we'll start to talk about different things like application of that, new products coming up. Video is huge, it's on everyone's lips right now, and that's really conducive for mobile.
If you look at the amount of time that people are spending with digital media in general, that's growing, but all of that growth is coming from mobile.
I think we'll see a slowdown actually in terms of the smartphone penetration in the countries that have led the smartphone revolution, such as the UK and the US. Where I do think we'll see a change is actually in the way that people are using smartphones, particularly in the rise of Apple Pay and mobile payments.
I think anything that has to do with experience. I think technologies that are able to drive experiences will be really strong. It's about figuring out how to really drive an emotive connection. So at the end of the day, most of us are really concerned with being seen, being heard, being felt. And if you can tap into that as a brand, you'll have loyalty for life.
I think we're going to see the rise of voice particularly, and the movement away from actual interfaces rather than gestures, swipes on your smartphone, actually a lot more voice interaction. I think we've seen the rise of that in youngsters in the US, with most people now actually using voice to Google search rather than type something in.
Within our business, a lot of the excitement around 2018 has actually been through innovation in data. We're doing a lot of work, for example, to help brands and agencies utilize mobile data to inform their decision making across other media, across other marketing channels, and within business in general. So I think innovation in data is just as important, if not more important, than the innovation in the underlying technology.
I don't think things necessarily get lost in the hype cycle, but I do think that things sometimes come to the forefront in mobile that actually don't yet serve the purpose. They don't create efficiencies, they don't answer problems that the user has. I think to become to the mainstream, it actually has to come and actually make someone's life better, easier. And I think that's where things tend to get lost in the hype cycle, when they come to the forefront, but actually it's just a novelty and very quickly get forgotten by the customer.
There is always a slight need for some kind of hype. Hype gets you through the door. What changes is how you act once you're through the door. I think the issue is that we've been so cluttered with the short-term thinking, the one-hit wonders, the one-trick ponies, that haven't learned to listen and adapt past their initial hype phase.
What I do think is a very interesting and exciting area is the use of AI to improve the sophistication of apps and how they actually operate. So, for example, something like personal assistant apps having a much better ability to predict what I might want to do. Obviously gives them huge advances in terms of their functionality and their usefulness to consumers. So that, I think, is a really exciting area to watch.
I think in terms of the Internet of Things, we've always said that the remote control of your life is now your smartphone, and I think that's going to continue in 2018. The Internet of Things is really going to kind of work in tandem with the smartphone, so the smartphone will become even more and more important.
I think my strongest advice would be to listen more to the end consumer. It's about finding out what tools you need to hear what your end user or your consumer is feeling, is reacting to, what they like, what they don't like, and figure out how to resolve that for them.
Ask a lot of questions. There are a lot of companies operating in this space, a lot of very complex technology, and if you're going to make the right decision as a brand or an agency, you do need to make an effort to understand what it is that you're getting into.
There's going to be a lot of new technology around and things that look really, really good for your business. I think it's really important to do the research and the user case scenarios behind that before actually making that product, because ultimately you need to bring something to your users that actually benefits them and gives them value.